The MonaLisa Twins are one of YouTube's greatest success stories. After putting out their first videos in 2007, at just 13 years old, Mona and Lisa have amassed over 130 million views and 280,000 subscribers, catching praise for their tight harmonies, killer guitar playing, amazing production values, and their brilliant and incisive songwriting. But my favorite thing about the Twins? They're huge Beatles fans. Not only have they released some of the best Beatles covers you'll ever hear, they were also the in-house band at the Cavern Club for 2 years. And they have an impressive arsenal of Beatles gear. I want that Hofner, guys. As someone who started out on YouTube at around the same time, I've been rooting them on from afar for years. I got to talk to them recently about their music, their gear, finding success on YouTube, and of course the Beatles. Here's that conversation. So Mona and Lisa Wagner, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having us. It's
Yes.
an absolute delight to be on your channel today.
So just to start at the top, why don't you guys mention how you got into the Beatles originally? For us as viewers, you kind of arrived fully formed on YouTube.
My band, ideas are words that go.
You guys were really young at 13, but you knew the songs, you knew the parts, you had these vocal arrangements worked out. How did you get there?
So we were lucky enough to grow up in a very musical household. Our dad used to run a recording studio in basically our backyard, like in the back, we have a big hall and studio built in the back of our house. So we always grew up around music, but it wasn't until we were about like 12, 13, 14 that we sort of discovered the Beatles for ourselves. So even though we grew up with the music being played in the background and sort of dad playing us songs here and there, it wasn't until we reached that age that we discovered it for ourselves. So we stumbled across his MP3 collection of the remastered Beatles tracks.
Yeah, quite a few albums came out as remastered around that time, and I think we were in this perfect spot for catching like the Beatlemania bug, because we were teenagers. And then suddenly, I think the first thing that really got us into it was we watched the anthology, I think it's quite a few parts, and we watched all of that, and we saw all these young girls being like obsessed, and I think they kind of spoke to us because we were that perfect teenage age where like most people got into some boy band that was popular in Austria at the time, and because we were from Austria, no one was into the Beatles, but sort of through this weird set of circumstances, we fell in love with them.
But I would say before we watched the anthology, it was purely the music that captured us.
But
so
all
we
at the same
didn't
time.
really know about like the Beatles as characters first. So we just sort of had these. I think it was Dad was in his studio. So we have like a studio in the, like I said, in the back of the house with that's like really professionally built with big speakers built into the wall. And I think Dad was testing something out, or he repaired those speakers and he played Beatles songs through them to sort of test them. And that's where we heard Beatles in full volume, great quality through
Full stereo, really blasted you guys.
Yeah, and just fell in love with the songwriting.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you brought up your dad, because I had a similar situation where I have him to thank for buying me my first Rickenbacker guitar, encouraging my musicianship, and he had the 60s records and audio tapes at the time, but didn't force it on me. Like, he encouraged me, like I had an ear for some Beatles stuff, but he didn't say, you have to listen to Rubber Soul right now. He let me find it on my own. And based on my research on you guys had a similarly awesome dad, or still do.
Oh yeah, we have the best in the world, I think.
He's a big part of what we do musically. Like, we write together, we record together, he records us, he's like our mix. He's like the George Martin of us. Yeah, we could say that.
So to pivot to your singing, it's one of the most striking things I notice on your covers is how beautiful your voices are and your harmony blend. Your harmonies are just gorgeous.
Oh, he'll regret it someday. But this
It was interesting to hear. I listened to a few of your Q&As on your channel, and one of my favorite videos is looking back on your earlier videos. And you mentioned it was a bit of a struggle to adapt to the American accent.
Okay.
I took your soul out into the It may be over, but it wants up there.
That's a good point. Yeah, some of our very early recordings, I I don't like listening to, because you can tell we haven't quite figured out how to speak English yet. Because I mean, when
We're still struggling.
we're still figuring it out. But when we were really young, sometimes as children you'd sing English songs, because we grew up in a German country in Austria, and you'd sing English songs, but you had no idea what the words were. So we would just sort of emulate the sounds without understanding the words, and then over time through high school we started learning song lyrics and things like that. But yes, we started off just sort of imitating what we heard.
Like birds singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see.
So not just for the Beatles songs, but because we covered all sorts of different things in the beginning, we often tried to give it like an American spin almost, and like we overpronounced the R's. Like we tried to make.
You guys had some twang in your voice. Yeah, absolutely. It was great.
We thought that would counteract the Austrian accent by like putting a really strong emphasis on like the R's.
Yeah. I think like we didn't understand English and the nuances of accents and that sort of thing. So we just thought, English, if we want to sound English, we have to hide the harshness of the German language. So I think we just went in a strange direction for a while. But yeah, hopefully these days people tell us that when we start singing, our accent tends to disappear, or at least go in the background. So yeah, the strange American twang has disappeared, I think.
Gonna get my baby back home. Yeah.
Really cool that I think one of the striking things about your singing today is you kind of hear it, but it adds an intensity to the singing. Part of that is your evolution as singers, but it's magical. Like the blend you guys have, it's just, the hair was standing up on the back of my neck listening to you guys.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
So at this time that you're developing your singing, you're also learning instruments for the first time. And one of the other striking things is how versatile you guys are as musicians. You both play guitar. Lisa plays lead guitar. Mona plays drums, which you both play a little bit of drums. Mona kind of plays flute. We're kind of iffy on the flute at this point.
And I want to show you something. I don't know what she's gonna get, so I'm actually curious. Oh, you don't really know how to play it yet, do you? I do.
I have done a few times, but I wouldn't say I'm a flute player. But I sometimes, if a song requires a flute part, I'll go ahead and learn it. But I wouldn't say outside of those realms I'm particularly proficient. But I do enjoy trying different instruments for recordings.
And then Lisa plays a bit of cello, is that right?
Yeah, but it's similar to her flute playing abilities.
I think if we would dedicate some time to it, we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could perform it as well.
When you guys started out, did you have a number one instrument that you picked as your kind of primary and you really dug into that? Or did you immerse yourself in everything that was around you and kind of build each instrument at the same time?
No, I think you definitely started out as the drummer and I was the guitarist. But we just soon realized that it doesn't really work well with us harmonizing if she's behind the drum kit. So you picked up
then I did pick up the guitar, yeah. But I started off being like the drummer of the band. Our very early recordings, I was mainly doing the drums. But yeah, soon that it's just, I think singing behind the drum kit, while it's cool for a few songs, it's just nice, especially to have us both in the front of the band. And yeah, these days we mainly, if we perform as just the two of us, it would be 2 guitars and 2 vocals.
Do you guys have a favorite instrument to play? A number one? For me, I would say it's probably rhythm guitar because it's so much damn fun. But do you have a number one favorite?
Yeah, that's what my answer would be. Rhythm guitar.
Yeah, and then I'm stuck with the lead guitar, but I prefer it. Rhythm is easy. It is actually.
It is easy.
I always have to learn the complicated parts. When we record anything complicated, it's always like your job is done a lot quicker in the studio than me having to figure out all that. But then you're also quite good at finger picking, and that also sometimes gets tricky. So we share chores. Well,
I can tell you guys are siblings based on the dynamic here. You're obviously sisters. I actually want to hit on the vocals again real quick because I can't sing, but I have had moments where I'm just singing informally with a friend and we hit a really good harmony and it's emotional. Like I start to get like sensory. It's really an amazing moment. How do you guys not feel that all the time? Like to have the sisterly thing, to have the amazing voices and to nail the harmonies. Do you find it overwhelming or is it just kind of, you've done it so many times, it's kind of mechanical at this point?
There's moments, I think, where you can feel when it feels a bit magical. But then if you repeat the song 10 times in my bedroom to rehearse, I think that magic maybe fades off a bit.
I also just think it doesn't always sound like you were hearing the polished, finished version, but for us to get there, it's not always as magical. Like,
That's also
I always find it really fascinating when we pick a new song. It's like how long it sounds pretty crap. And you like start to like doubt your ability as musicians, be like, this really isn't great. Like, but then you just, I mean, as with everything in life, you just practice, and suddenly, like you notice when like the magic happens. Not, I mean, it sounds a bit big-headed,
Right.
but at some point, like things start to click, and it's usually when you get like the dynamics right, and you can focus on the little nuances of like adding feel to whatever you're singing, so you're not just mechanically getting it right, but you can add your little essence.
Yeah, you're right.
And then it's when even we can tell, oh yeah, it's getting like there is a bit of magic forming, I guess.
Yeah, this is something that's entirely new to me, so quick follow-up question. One of the magical things for someone who can't sing is hearing the moments you hit the vibrato, when you decide to do little runs, and they're obviously at least a little coordinated. You guys work that out when you hit the vibrato, when you extend a note, when you end the note? That is something you kind of calculate and work on together? Or is it more intuitive?
I think most of that stuff is. I don't remember planning any vibrato ever. So
Oh,
most
wow,
of the
really?
time, like,
Okay.
that sort of stuff is, I think, intuitive. But sure, sometimes like phrasings to get that synchronized. Sometimes we need to talk things through. But I think more often than not, if you run it through a song enough times, you just create these sort of patterns and yeah.
Just while we're hitting the vocals, I have a bit of a surprise for you guys. I've isolated some of your singing on 3 of my favorite covers of yours, and I would just like to hit them and talk to you guys about it. So we'll start with the first right here.
I know it's true. It's all because of you. And if you go away, I know you'll never stay.
Like, I have chills. Like, that's just incredible, guys. Like,
Oh, thank
That's
you.
fun to hear like that.
I haven't listened to that in a while.
No,
I forgot,
me neither.
I forgot we did
no,
that.
it's
I mean,
really
I didn't
good.
forget,
You
but-
should be really like, I mean, it's probably the best version of Now and Then I've heard besides the Beatles. Might even be better.
Oh, thank you. I remember that song suddenly coming out. Like, how long ago is it now? A few years?
I think 2, like at the end of 2023, I think. Yeah, maybe 2.5. Yeah.
And us just being like, okay, well, us being so well known for covering Beatles, we just have to do something with it. And we also didn't just
Can't
want to
resist.
copy it. So we just thought, what could we do? And then we did this like multi-layered, harmony-rich
Yeah, we did
a
that.
cappella thing.
In a 24 hours, I think, or 48 hours or something.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? 24? It was that quick?
That's, I think, the quickest turnaround we ever had for a song and video.
Oh my
It's quite
gosh.
stressful, but fun.
I want to continue the clip because there's a moment here in the chorus where you can hear, first of all, everything's beautiful, but someone is doing a little like run in the background that you can barely hear, but it really stood out to me as adding to like the magic and the detail. So I'll play it real quick.
Now and then I miss you. Oh, now and then I want you to be there for me.
So cool. It's just so damn cool.
You mean the things that are going on in the background of like
Yeah, like the
hum?
little high, like almost not moaning, but yeah, the little kind of high notes. Someone's kind of. It almost sounds like you're vamping a bit, just improvising.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing with like choruses is that you can add. And like we're doing that quite often, even with our original music. It's like adding movement to like the R's. We
love our oohs and
oohs and R's. Yeah.
It was just so amazing to hear it on its own, but then to isolate it and hear how much care went into putting that part together is stunning. And to hear you did it so quick, yeah, you guys are too damn talented. It's just crazy.
Thank you. We were very sleep deprived that weekend. Remember that.
You put that much work into it, really?
Yeah, no, we had to get it out so quick. We kept going until it was done.
So this is not a Beatles song, but again, as a non-singer, this gave me such chills. I have to play it and to see your This is just such a fun opportunity to play you guys things I like that you've done and get you guys to react to it. It's fantastic.
It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I'll blast the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
So that's a live 3-part harmony, and I'm sorry, I forget the gentleman's name. Is it Mike?
Mike Massey, yeah.
Mike Massey.
Yeah, we performed it at the Epstein Theatre, which is another fun Beatles connection.
It sounds fantastic, and that one's interesting too because you seem to stick to the original record, same key, and the harmonies sound very similar to the Toto performance. Do you guys have a philosophy or kind of a procedure, for lack of a better word, for which songs you do kind of a really faithful cover and which ones you add your own kind of interpretation or spin? How do you decide which ones get the key change or which ones get kind of a unique twist? Or is it just kind of intuitive as well?
Yeah. I think, and we say this a lot, but the number one thing for us that it's important when covering a song is that whatever we think makes the song special or magical, that we preserve that. And then the rest we can change. So it depends sort of what that is whether or not we go crazy with our own spin on it. But there's no real rule set in place. I think in that case, Mike picked the key, so I think he normally tends to stick with the original. But if he covers male vocals, it's also easier for him. And we normally change stuff around because I would say the majority of songs he plays sung by men. I think, definitely. I think. Like Beatles, for example, we have to usually change the key around a little bit just to suit our vocal range a little better. Yeah, the key quite often gets changed. We're not very sacrilegious about keys.
Right.
In terms of arrangement and stuff, some songs suit more of a loose approach and some need to be quite by the book in order to be kept cool, we think. But yeah, there's no real strict rules.
I have a co-host of the other show, Ryan, who was thrilled I'm talking to you guys. I'm very jealous. And he wanted me to ask you guys a very specific question. Are there any songs, Beatles or otherwise, that you're either scared to cover or want to cover and haven't done it yet?
It's a good question.
There is some things. I would say if some songs have really strong vocalists, like anything that goes into like R&B or like it's hard. We wouldn't really touch any Queen without like people that have crazy.
We've covered Queen though.
Oh, we have, yeah. But like whenever someone's like a crazy skilled vocalist, that we don't pick those songs because we don't have like the pipes.
You mean like a strong?
Like we don't belt anything.
No, like Beyonce songs in the future.
Yeah, for example, we couldn't even do that. Not that it's also not the kind of music obviously we want to do, but we're not like very like.
I know what you virtuoso
singers, I guess, which lends itself great to Beatles songs. Not that they weren't amazing singers, but it was always more about the song rather than the vocal performance in a way. Like
if you think like "Oh Darling" or something, but then again, we have never done "Oh Darling." Yeah, maybe for a similar reason.
Got to do it next. There you go.
Yeah, we could try.
Add it to your list. Yeah.
Yeah, but anything that's maybe it's quite vocally challenging.
I don't know. You say that, but
I think you guys are being a bit modest here. I mean, no one's going to be Aretha Franklin, but I've yet to hear a song you guys cover where it's not one of the best covers I've heard, including a lot of vocally challenging stuff. I have a request, though, which you can take or leave. You guys haven't done Real Love. You've done Now and Then, but I haven't heard Real Love. Any interest in doing Real Love?
We've never really thought about
no,
it.
it's not the one on our shortlist. And let me try and think why. For no particular reason, I don't think. You know, our list of songs that we could do, especially Beatles songs. I mean, we've done a lot of Beatles songs already, but there's still a lot we haven't. It's just so long that sometimes we just go with like our super favorites. Although I do really like Real Love. It just hasn't been on one that's...
We normally, I don't know, when I go through like what Beatles songs could cover, we just go for the catalog, and this is like somewhere like in the future, like it's not part of any album, so I didn't even think about doing it.
This is one of the strategies for my show, is just to shame people I like to do songs I want them to do. So this is succeeding. Just to transition a little bit to gear for just a moment. I'm not a huge gearhead, but I do have my poor financial decisions behind me, as you can see. And you guys have quite a big arsenal of Beatles gear too. And just to ask you a few questions about it. Number one, the Hofner bass. I know it's your father's. It's a custom Hofner bass, right?
Well, it wasn't custom made for us, but it is a limited edition release that they made. They made, I think, 2006?
I don't know.
They only made like a dozen or something of the red ones. And we found it actually at a... Can you show it? Yeah.
Oh, you have it behind you.
Yeah. We asked Dad to drop it off just so we can have it in the background for this video. So this is what Dad plays.
Oh, it's the best day.
Yeah,
awesome.
most of the time.
And we found this when we went to Germany to the German Frankfurt Music Fair many, many years ago. And while we were there, we visited a little small music cellar, it was called, like a music shop that had a lot of vintage guitars and sort of quite curious old instruments. And this red bass was there. And we were looking for a Hofner bass for a while anyway, because we haven't had a proper one yet. And the red one was there, and we just thought that's a cool like spin. And since then it's become sort of almost like this a staple of whenever you see us live, our bassists always play this red Hofner bass.
And you guys both play it really beautifully too. I thought that Lisa was the primary bass player, but then I watched your Junk cover, the Paul McCartney song. And Mona, your bass playing is fantastic while you're singing too. It also seems like a really playable bass, right?
I love Hofner basses in general. As long as it's set up well, it's just so light and we both, if we have to, when we play together, both of us could pick up the bass. But when we play live, we always have a bassist with us and we stick to guitars.
And in the studio, Dad records all the basses. So he's like the bassist of the studio world. Yeah.
The studio bassist, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We can't get him on stage. We always try to, but he's always busy filming or doing other things or doing our sound. So he's like, I'm already busy enough. I don't want to also join you on stage. But
what a dad. Great transition to guitars. I wanted to ask Mona about your Rickenbacker. So you have the black one. It's a Rickenbacker 350. Is that right? It's the full scale?
Exactly. It's the full scale version of what John Lennon played. So it's actually just like a regular electric guitar. It's the 350 V63 because I think there's like different models. But yeah, it plays like a regular guitar, which I actually found when we covered some Beatles stuff, because John always did a lot of like rock and roll stuff where he used his pinky a lot.
The Chuck Berry, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he makes it look so easy, but he has the short scale version, so it is a little easier. So I realized when I tried to copy that on mine, it's like, whew, that's a hard workout for the pinky. So I understand now why he went for his version, or why he developed that on his guitar. But
that was one of my questions for you. Was that an intentional decision to get the full scale? Or if you had to do it over again, would you get the 3/4 scale smaller guitar? Because I have enormous hands, and this it's hard to play. It is small.
Yeah. No, I think... I've never played a short scale for any long period of time other than trying it out at the store. And I just think playing my regular one is a bit more like it transfers to different guitars. I don't need to. It's just like picking up any guitar. So I'm quite happy with it. I don't think I'd start over on the other model.
And then Lisa, you've played a couple Gretches. It seems like your primary, is that a duo jet? A Gretsch duo jet?
Yes, that's the one I play live.
Oh, you got that one too. Oh, I'm so excited. I get to see all the guitars.
So here it is. I took the pick guard off a few years ago and then never put it back on, so it doesn't look like
the George one.
The George one, yeah. But I love it. It's great. And yeah, I just think nothing comes close to like the tone that
of a Gretsch.
Gets that Beatley George Harrison sound.
You modified it a bit.
I did modify it quite a bit, yeah, because it came with a Bixby that kind of went out of tune quite easily. So like the tremolo, the original one is like is a Bixby, and it was like fixed. You couldn't move the arm, and it was also like floating here, so it would constantly go out of tune, and the bridge was floating as well. So it was just a nightmare, especially for
just a mess.
So I changed the Bixby to a Duesenberg tremolo. That's a completely different guitar brand, but I tried it out in a store, like a Duesenberg guitar once, and I really loved how that feels. And also how easy it is to change guitar strings with, because you just basically sort of like it's like really easy to change strings with. You just take the strings off and then you flip this around and then you put them in. It's like very easy in comparison to like your normal Bixby.
Anything's easier than a Bigsby, man. One of the great things watching your videos is that you seem to pay a lot of tribute to the original solo and the riff, but also put your own kind of spin on it as well. Do you go back to the original record and try to learn it note for note first? Do you go to YouTube and find videos for nerds like me who put stuff out there? Like, do you have a process for learning this stuff? Or it is really neat how you kind of pay tribute to the original and put your Lisa spin on it as well.
Yeah. So thank you for people like you, honestly. You help us out so much when we try to figure out
Anytime.
stuff. Yeah. We always go to YouTube. We often go to YouTube and sort of see how, either watch the original, like find a live recording or something to see how stuff is played, or we just watch other people dissecting things. And then initially we always try to see how it was played on the recording. Like we want to replicate it as close as we can, and then adapt from there. So if we then we think we can make stuff better all of a sudden, or I don't know, maybe it's just like an artistic flair we add to stuff and then change things around it to suit our arrangement better, or just
your styles. Yeah. Do you guys have any favorite Beatles riffs to play on any instrument? Guitar, bass, drums, flute?
Well, I still...
There's so many good riffs, aren't there?
I like the opening thing of Octopus's Garden.
Really?
That is cool. I remember like practicing this. I still can't like always nail it fluently, but I remember like just playing around with this for so long, because it's such a like fluent, cool intro thing.
Oh yeah.
And I like playing that.
Yeah. What do I like to play? Well, I usually don't do the riffs. You do the riffs, and then I come in sometime later.
It's a cop out, but okay. So just to transition, before we start heading to the final topics, I want to mention Highlights as a touring band. You guys have done a lot of live gigs, including a residency at the Cavern Club, which I'm sure was a pretty surreal experience. What was that like, to go to the Cavern Club so many times and act as kind of a in-house Beatles cover and tribute band?
No, I think it was a great opportunity. We did it for 2 years, so every Saturday night we played there, and we actually calculated it once, and I think it was actually about 100
Pretty
shows.
much exactly.
Maybe 101 or something like that, but we couldn't quite figure it out, but we think it was basically 100 shows, and it was just lovely to see sort of to come from a place of being huge Beatles fans to start with. So the first few shows were like an out-of-body experience. And then sort of it turned into our weekly Saturday night gig. And I think we just really grew confident on that stage, because that's the most extensive live playing we had done. during those 2 years, I think we played not only at the Cavern, but we did shows all the time. And I think we just grew into this quite tight and dynamic little band. And the Cavern Club was just this fun playground. It felt like in the end, because it almost felt like home turf after a while. And we just became really comfortable having fun on that little stage. And it was our nice weekly highlight.
And the audience was great as well, because you always had Beatles enthusiasts in the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, sure. I can imagine. Yeah.
yeah. With Saturday Night, there's also like a mix of just Beatles tourists that came, mixed with like the locals who just went out for like partying.
Yeah.
So the whole
For a
Matthew
beer, yeah.
Street always turned into a bit of a, we called it the war zone on Saturday night. Yeah. Just go a bit crazy. So yeah, but it made for a fun live playing experience, because you had people that really appreciated the songs you picked, because we played a lot of Beatles songs obviously, and 60s covers, a bit of our own as well. But you had people that really appreciated the songs, and then also people that just wanted to have a really good time. So it was always fun, and we didn't have to
Always
worry
a great
about,
crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have to worry about like bringing people in, because they were there already anyway. So yeah, it was really a good way to
hone our craft, I
to
would say.
develop
Yeah.
as a live act.
What a cool way to be able to do that on the, not quite, but let's go with the story, on the stage that the Beatles played on. Technically,
Sure.
it's a replica, but it's close enough, and it's
Close
almost the
enough.
same spot.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And it's funny because it sounds like that was your version of the Beatles in Hamburg, where they played 12 hours a day on stage and honed their craft and were forced to put on a show for folks, Max Schau, and really develop all these songs and this repertoire, the banter on stage, and become really great entertainers. You guys did that too, but at the actual Cavern Club.
know,
So it's the ultimate Beatles experience.
Yeah, I would say so. It wasn't quite 12-hour shows, but it was still intense.
Thank God,
And I learned so much, yeah.
Well, and it's
It's like an OSHA violation.
And we always say, it like the conditions in which we played it wouldn't have been that much different to what the Beatles did, because it was boiling hot in there all
That was one of my questions. Does the AC work down there? Like, what's it like?
the day we stopped playing there, like
Like our
literally,
last show.
our last show was the day they put the AC in. Like, it was ridiculous. So especially when in the summer, or when it was slightly, the worst was when it was hot and raining outside. Like there was condensation dripping from it, so it was like it was not a nice thing to play. But I kind of
think
like
they added to it.
added to like the we're grinding this out here and like putting on a good show, and it still had some of that rough atmosphere, which I think was really cool.
Did you guys build like a loyal fan base? Did you kind of realize you had some regulars who kept coming back to see just you guys?
Yeah, we
yeah.
did start to see the same faces many weeks in a row, and you build your own little crowd. That was good to see as well, and that's kind of almost what I miss the most. We haven't played live in a few years, although we are wanting to change that this year. But I think that having that sort of connection with the regulars and the hardcore fans, we've really missed that for the last few years. So hopefully we can bring that back soon.
If you do, I'll be right there. I will become a regular.
I remember when we played our very final Cavern Club show, I remember thinking, okay, this is the final one. I need to like soak in this atmosphere, because we've done this like week after week for 2 years. And I remember making a very conscious effort of trying to really savor the moment. So I feel like I actually remember that show.
The others are
No, they blurred together.
Yeah,
but
you're
the
right,
last one, the one that I filmed actually, they're on YouTube, most of them, is I actually remember doing that. And yeah, I would say that's the standard one too.
As someone who doesn't, I'm kind of a music analyst who knows how to play riffs just from being interested in music. I've gigged a couple times, but the idea of playing to crowds that big who know the songs you're singing and sing along, it just must be so much fun.
Yeah, we are currently making an effort to put a tour together this year. So we want to get back out there.
If you guys come to Philadelphia or New York, I'll be right there in front row.
We'd love to come to the
We'll
US.
start with the UK first, but we get asked about the US a lot of times. But we need to get back into the groove of things. And
Fair enough, fair enough. just to transition to my last major topic, which is your original music. One of the delights of going into a deep dive on your channel the past few days in preparation for this was seeing the evolution of your musicianship going back to 2007, 2008, the covers, your band with your father and your family, transitioning to kind of more highly produced covers and, beautiful editing, beautiful filming. The gear got a bit better too, which was really cool to see. We went from a fake Hofner to a real Hofner. I had the same thing happen. And eventually, lately, to a lot of really beautiful and great original songs. And I would ask folks, number one, go on YouTube and just watch a bunch of them. That's what I did the past few days, but I want to ask you guys about two of them. As someone who worked in politics, the song I really dug was I Bought Myself a Politician.
Yeah.
Just to start out, what was the genesis of that song?
I bought myself a politician.
Lockdowns.
Yeah, I think being because some people think this is a political song, but in some ways it's almost like an anti-political song for us.
Yeah,
Like, that's how we view it. Like,
yeah.
I also bought the opposition.
yeah, people try and like pinpoint like different things, and we're trying to highlight the corrupt nature of the politician itself. And yeah, it just was born out of like very like confusing and annoying and frustrating time.
That whole album it's part of an album called Why, and sort of the title sums it up, and that all of it came from the COVID lockdown years, and a lot of creative juices were flowing in those years.
What was so brilliant about the song is that it is kind of a protest song about politicians, but it's bipartisan, which is an amazing trick you guys pulled off. It's an anti-corruption song.
Yeah.
And, I know Republicans and Democrats who would equally love that song because you can hear it any way you want. It's just against corrupt hobbies, corrupt activities.
Yeah.
Did one of you write the lyrics? Did you collaborate? Can you maybe use this as an example to talk about your songwriting process too?
Yeah, with almost all of our songs, it's a collective effort between the two of us and our dad as well. And usually one of us comes up with like the initial idea, and then we just pass it around or like work in different pairings. So either like Dad and Mona work on stuff. And with that song,
I don't remember
I don't know exactly what pairing was
I think
used.
that's pretty even actually in the politician.
Yeah. So yeah, we just pass stuff around until we're all happy and work things as the Wagner. So
The triple threat.
yeah.
Any other day.
And the other song that really, I think it's my favorite song you guys have done is Any Other Day.
Oh, thank you.
I watched it last night with my wife on our big TV, cranked up the sound bar and the volume. And first of all, the music video is really well shot. You guys look great as always, but it's just a great pop song. Which one of you guys came up with that one?
I remember the melody of the was something that Dad had recorded like in a demo file.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that was the
piano run.
Yeah, and didn't you and Dad then individually? That's it.
We were brainstorming like hook ideas of what would fit with that melody, and we had like a bunch of, we went different directions, like where we could take this, and like separate from each other, we both had the idea of Any Other Day, and when we came together, it was almost like a weird.
The mind meld. There it is. There's that Twins mind meld.
Exactly. And both of us said, oh, that would flow really nicely, and then we just took it from there and turned it into the concept. We then had to work out what Any Other Day would actually mean, and where we could take it lyrically. But yeah, the hook we both thought of independently, which I thought was really cool.
And just
That is
because
super cool.
Any Other Day flows with Any Other Day, like the melody we had for that. It's quite funny.
It's amazing, as a fan of you guys, and a fan of music, when you hear a song that's as good as that for the first time, at least for me, part of my brain goes to, I've heard this before. Like, this feels like it's always existed. Like, it hits such a chord. And I wanted to point out there's a lyric there that says an idea that's classic, but in a new way that I really appreciated. Though the chances are 1 in 8 billion, you'll never know destiny's play. If I didn't have love on my side, I'd still be alone on my way, like any other day. That's fantastic. Like,
thank you.
bravo, you guys. That's really, really well done.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite songs we've ever written. Like I really, really like it.
like any other day.
All right, last segment. This has moved very quick, and this has been a fantastic conversation, but now it's time for the hot seat. I'm going to put you guys on the hot seat. This is a segment I call 4 Fab Questions, and you both have to answer. We can't do one answer or the other. You both have to answer. You have no choice. I'm kidding. First question, and you may have seen this coming. What is your favorite Beatles song and why?
Okay, I'll just go off the cuff. It'll change every time I answer this, but at the moment I would say Because, and it's because of the Harmonies.
Good reason. Very good reason.
I will say I'll Follow the Sun, because I remember just as teenagers being this was my, like, we just listened to Beatles songs all over and over and over again. This was one of the songs that I think had on for an entire day straight.
You guys are definitely Beatles fans, because I watched a Q&A and your answers were "And Your Bird Can Sing" and "You're Gonna Lose That Girl." So 2 completely different answers.
Yeah, well, I would answer this differently.
I'm the exact same way. It changes every 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second question, who is your favorite Beatle and why?
Again, I don't have a clear answer for that, but since I have to, I will
You
say...
have no choice.
I have no choice. I will go with... I know what you'll say, so I'll pick something else. I'll go with John Lennon.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say George Harrison. For me, it's the most like introspective. Well, they're all introspective in different ways, but I don't know, something about like the quiet introspectiveness of George.
This one's a bit kind of theoretical, so it may take some time to think of an answer, but you guys have immersed yourself in Beatles music in ways very few people have. You've learned every part yourselves. You've sometimes done a carbon copy, you've done covers with your own spin, and you've done it for years and years. Not many people get to do that. Have you had any takeaways about the Beatles from that experience? Any new insights into their music, into their personalities? What has been your major takeaway from this whole experience playing and recreating Beatles music?
Ah, that's good.
I think that it's almost what they did is borderline like impossible. I know they did it, but it's like us being musicians as well and writing and then also doing so many other things. It seems almost impossible, like how many songs they wrote, how good they all were, and that they were doing other things at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how difficult it is to do everything they did at the same time. Like they made movies, they wrote books, they were in relationships, they went out, they had like a social circle, and they wrote incredible songs.
Yeah.
Like it's almost it's almost impossible. I think that's just what's something. I don't think everyone realizes how difficult it is to write that many songs that consistently
While touring also.
yeah. I don't know what.
And I think the more you understand about music and about songwriting is almost the more you look into them, the more baffling they become, I think, and the more respect you get for them. Because maybe you could flippantly say, oh, it's just like a bunch of pop songs, it was just like this hyped band from the 60s. But almost the more time you dedicate to understanding them, the more amazing they become. So I feel like the more you understand, the more my respect grows.
Final question, what is next for the MonaLisa Twins? I know you guys are building your own studio, but what can fans of yours have to look forward to over the next couple years, 5 years, besides a cover of Real Love, which I expect in the next 2 weeks or so?
I think one thing I really want to focus on the next couple of years, or year at least, is because we've done a lot of duo sessions recently where we just play 2 guitars and keep it quite simple, but I want to explore a few more creative video ideas and sort of try and open the boundaries a bit again of what we do recording wise and video wise. So I want to bring the experimental part back. But the thing that's mainly on our agenda now is to get back into live playing. So depending on when this comes out, will be a certain amount of far into the process of planning live shows again. But yeah, we're at the beginning right now, but that's the big thing for this year. So news will come when they're ready.
And if folks want to keep tabs on you guys or take a look at any merch you have or upcoming tour dates when it happens, where should they go?
Well,
we obviously have all the social media pages, but I would say for people that want to have the most insight into what we do is we have a thing called the MLT Club, so the MonaLisa Twins Club on our website, where people, it's sort of like Patreon but hosted on our own website. So if people want to support while getting like a closer look behind the scenes, this is where we post every week. So we post like either behind the scenes stuff or vlogs or album discussions and that kind of thing. So if people are really interested, you can check out the MLT Club on our website, MonaLisaTwins.com.
Yes,
but for like that, for
MonaLisaTwins.com is the important part.
But for the regular, just wanting to follow loosely what we do, it's our social media or newsletter on our website. So MonaLisa Twins, wherever.
You can't really miss us if you type in MonaLisa Twins.
Awesome. You guys are personal heroes of mine. Thank you so much for your time. I did want to add, I've noticed in my journey as a musician that there's one rule that seems pretty constant, which is the more talented someone is, the nicer they are. There are some exceptions, obviously, but it seems like the best instrumentalists, the best singers, are some of the most chill, laid-back, fun people you ever get to meet. And one of the best parts about immersing myself in your content in the past few days, you guys are total goofballs. Like, you really are. And to see people that talented, that humble, self-aware, and so damn talented, it really is inspiring. So on a personal note, please keep up the good work and fantastic work so far. Like, you guys are really fantastic.
Oh, thank you. You're making us blush. Yeah. That's very, very sweet. And also from our side, thank you so much for having us on this show. Honestly, it was such a lovely surprise to have your message come in, and we're very honored to be here. And for everyone watching, keep watching his channel. You're doing amazing work.
Aww.
And yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
We can't finish without saying stay groovy.
Wow, coordinated. Perfect.
Yeah, we do this, so we've done this many times.
Stay groovy.
Stay groovy.